What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Savage Rounds with Xavier. Today, for you, I've got the UFC Nashville recap. There were a lot of good fights on this card. It was a pretty fun card. A couple debuts, or maybe just one. Some guys making returns after long layoffs. Some good knockouts. But yeah, let's get into it. Went 6-6, obviously not what we're looking for pick wise on the week. Missed on Bazooka, Hadley, Jeremiah Wells, Bahamundes, Kammer, and Inzachukwu. Bazooka, I was counting on him being able to get the wrestling going and being able to get inside, but the slick boxing, the range control that Sean Woodson has proved to be too much, and then along with that, he was not able to get the wrestling going whatsoever. And then Woodson himself was able to do a little offensive grappling. He looked really good in that fight. Who knows if Bazooka was affected by the short notice? Just by the way he was talking on Instagram and Twitter, it seems like he signed a multi-fight deal, maybe 2 or 3, because he was saying, we're here now, we'll be back. So it'll be interesting to see him on a full camp, see if he can look better than that, because he really wasn't able to get anything going at all offensively, and defensively wasn't effective. Next up, we missed on Hadley. What I was counting on here was him being much more effective on the feet. He wasn't able to get anything going on the feet. I mean, I won't say anything because he landed a few good body shots here and there and a few hooks, but overall, I thought he was going to be much more effective on the feet. And when it went to the ground, that's kind of how I talked about it would play out. Durden being able to get takedowns, but Hadley having to be dangerous, make it difficult from the bottom. And so that's kind of what I was counting on, him winning minutes on the feet, and then when it goes to the ground, making it awkward and hopefully being able to find the submission or make it awkward enough to get up. But on the feet, I thought Durden was doing much better. And then Hadley had him in danger at one point. He almost had the tap a few times with that armbar. It was gross. I thought Durden's arm was going to break at one point, but it didn't. Durden toughed it out. And then he was able to continue with the striking and the wrestling into the third round. That was a really good performance for him. And he's on a nice little win streak now. Next miss, Jeremiah Wells. Oh, this one sucked. Carlston Harris did not win a minute of this fight until he sunk in the choke in the third round. He was losing the striking. I would say neither of them were doing much. Neither of them were landing big shots, really. They both kind of took big swings, and nobody really landed anything of meaning. But then Wells would shoot a takedown, and he got him pretty easily. And at one point, I think the first time they ended up on the ground, Carlston, I don't know, he made a mistake and ended up there. It wasn't a takedown at first, I don't think. But then after that, he was able to get the takedowns relatively easy. And top control was good from him, landing shots on the ground. And then in the third round, he goes for another takedown. And he wasn't able to get it. He was fighting for it, but he left his neck in there too long. And you know those lanky arms of Carlston Harris? He snuck him in there. I believe it was a Darce. It was really nice. Good. I mean, Hail Mary finish. Obviously, it wasn't the end of the round, but he very, very easily lost rounds 1 and 2. And if he got taken down, was going to lose the third. So good on Harris for getting that Hail Mary finish. Sucks for the pick, but whatever. Bahamundes Klein. I massively underrated Klein in this one. He looked so good on the feet. He was able to get the wrestling going. I thought the length from Bahamundes was going to be a tough ask for Klein on the feet and with the takedowns, but Bahamundes did not use his reach as I thought he would. The prodding kicks to keep him away weren't really there. He wasn't using a jab as well. The kicks in general, he wasn't throwing as many as he usually does. But so I don't know, he wasn't using his rangy attacks like I thought he was going to keep Klein away. And like I said, the takedown defense wasn't as nearly as effective as I thought it would be. Very good performance from Klein, and he's on a nice little win streak now too. He's got a draw in there, I think. The Jai Herbert fight. So other than that draw, he's got a few wins now. Alexa Kammer Bozer. I said it. I didn't really go too deep into this fight. We knew they were both gonna stand and bang. That was obvious. Cameron's a boxer, and Boser does not shoot takedowns, really. He did a few times in this fight, but that's not something you usually see out of him. And I talked about it in the preview, or the predictions video. I was relying on Cameron having been away for so long, improving and becoming more well-rounded, just adding stuff to his game. And he was the same fighter. It wasn't good versus Tanner Boser. He looked like he'd been away for a while and didn't improve. And that's what it was. So really good for Boser to have a good performance, take advantage of that. And I don't know, that could probably be it for Cameron. I don't know how long his contract is, obviously. I think he's 1-3 in the UFC now, so who knows how long his contract is, but that could be it. Next miss, Nzechukwu. Jacoby had a great first round knockout. There's not really much you could say there. The stoppage may have been a bit early, but we've seen Kennedy get knocked out before, so I don't know. I understand the stoppage, and it did also feel a little early, but I'm not really too mad at it. It was a big shot from Jacoby, and it's not like he was dominating before that. It was pretty early in the fight. They were still in the first round, and it was quite back and forth up until that point. Nobody really taking the lead. Jacoby just landed the big shot. It was just a really nice straight down the middle, good shot from him, and he jumped on there, threw some ground and pound, and it was hitting the guards. That's why a lot of people were saying it was an early stoppage. That's why I talked about it a little bit. But I mean, I'm not overly mad at it. He didn't move for the first, I don't know, like 10 ground and pound strikes. Maybe it was a little bit less than 10, but he just covered up and wasn't moving. So I see why the ref jumped in, but I also understand Kennedy really was just trying to I don't know, figure out how to get up, and then he started to, and the ref called it. So unlucky for Kennedy, but really good knockout from Jacoby. Good work. And then we hit on the next two. So Savage Rounds Parlay, we missed on that too. Like I said, I massively underrated Ludovic Klein in this one, and I don't know, maybe I'll have to reevaluate next time I tape Ignacio how he's able to use his range. Maybe I was overrating that as well. So I'll have to see there. The Diego Lopez one, obviously, was a great hit. He did what he thought. But we'll talk about the wins now. So obviously we got Almabayev. He looks really legit. His wrestling is great. His submission skills look really good. We know he's got a bunch of subs on his record, and obviously the wrestling is going to be relentless, and he's very good at it. On the feet, I also think he can be dangerous. You can see when he's throwing punches, he's got power. He's obviously not the most technical. Usually the strikes, I won't say usually, but a lot of the time he will strike to get into a takedown, to get close to shoot a takedown. So he uses that to get in close. But also I think because of the takedown and the power that he possesses, I think at times he can fake a takedown, throw the big overhand, and be dangerous with that. So very talented. I like the performance. He looks like a legit guy. It'll be fun to see who he gets next and how he does. Next one, Billy Quarantillo. That was, like I said, I mean, it is the narrative with every Billy Quarantillo fight, if he can survive the onslaught early, because it's weird. He tries to get going early, and he's throwing the strikes, but he's very hittable early, it seems, but the resilience he has and the ability to stay in fights early, even if he's losing, and then come hard late. Because, I mean, there's even times where early he'll be doing good, but it's just a back and forth war, and then he just dominates as it goes on. And this was that. It was back and forth. Definitely a contender for Fight of the Night. We'll see. For me, it was between this one and the Durden Hadley fight. I'll talk about what I gave it to in a bit, but yeah, it was great. Back and forth. Dane looked really good early with the striking. He was landing some shots. You could see Billy just kind of eating them and not maybe reacting too well, but he was able to withstand it and grew as the fight went on. Dane Jackson started to tire. Billy Quarantillo did not, and great fight. It was sick from both guys. Next one we hit on was Kyler Phillips. That fight was closer than I thought it was going to be, but it was still overall a solid win for Kyler Phillips. That's a good opponent. Raoni Barcelos is a great fighter. He was able to hurt Barcelos in the first round, and I thought beforehand, but I thought especially after seeing him hurt him in the first round, he was going to be able to tag him a couple times. But he really wasn't. He just kind of out-volumed Barcelos, I'd say. And he was able to get the decision. Yeah, he looked solid. It wasn't anything special other than that knockdown in the first round. That was really nice, the combo he threw. The way he did it, I'm pretty sure it was just a little 1-2. He jumped in and got out. It was nice. Next hit was Lopez over Gavin Tucker. The fight didn't even really get going. There's not much to say about it, but Gavin Tucker shot a takedown earlier than I think a lot of people thought he was going to. And man, did Lopez react to it. He went to defend it and then jumped up for a flying triangle, turned it into an arm bar, was able to transition that into a deeper triangle. And, that leveraged the arm bar even more. As they rolled, he broke Gavin Tucker's arm. Gavin Tucker tapped, and that was that. It was under a minute. I'm pretty sure it was like 45 seconds. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay. Just under 2 minutes. 1:38. But, yeah. Sick from Diego Lopez. We thought he was going to look good from that Movsar Evloev performance, and boy, did he. It'll be fun to see him keep fighting. I really like him. He could be definitely something to watch out for as he continues to take fights. The next one, Andrade versus Tatiana Suarez. Suarez was just a lot bigger, and we saw Blanchfield was able to get the takedown, so I thought Suarez would definitely be able to as well. She did, and she was able to progress into the rear naked choke, I believe it was. Oh no, guillotine. It was a guillotine. But yeah, it wasn't a great performance from Suarez. She did what she had to do, but I think a lot of people were expecting, just because of how dominant she was early on, she hasn't been bad since she came back. It just hasn't been anything crazy. She's finished both her opponents, and obviously finishing Andrade is great, but I don't know. I think a lot of people agree on Twitter too. It doesn't seem like it's her before. I don't know. It's not as dominant. It doesn't feel as dominant as it did, but she's getting it done. So regardless, it is what it is. She's getting wins, especially a win against Andrade. Positions herself very well into the top 5, or for a fight in the top 5, I do believe. Regardless of what I think about her performances, she's getting the finishes, so it doesn't matter. Next up, Sandhagen Font. He was dominant. I thought it was going to be more so on the feet, but Sandhagen hurt his elbow. He didn't know. He said tricep or elbow or something. He wasn't sure what it was. He hurt it in the first round, so he felt he had to do more wrestling because he didn't want to. He said he thought, by the way it felt, that it was serious after the first round, so he didn't want to throw the hands as much, and he resorted to the wrestling, and it was dominant. Rob Font couldn't stop any takedowns. Rob Font couldn't be dangerous off the bottom with jiu-jitsu. Rob Font couldn't get up off of his back, so great wrestling performance from Sandhagen. I know everybody always wants the violence from Sandhagen, and he does bring it most of the time, but when you're injured like that, what can you do? He found a way to win with a rough injury, and now, afterwards especially, we know he was really severely injured. He's going to be out for, they said, at least 6 months, and he's getting surgery. I can't remember when exactly. I want to say that it was within the week or two. So, yeah, tough for Sandhagen injury-wise, but great result from the fight. Easy victory for him. Let's get into the awards now. Fight of the night. Like I said, it was between Quarantillo Jackson and Durden Hadley, but I just felt like it had to go to Quarantillo and Dane Jackson. It was a war. Both guys were getting good stuff off. I think other than Hadley having the armbar for a bit in the second round, it wasn't really too back and forth. Durden was winning minutes other than that. So, I don't know. It was still a great fight. It was a fun fight, especially in that second round when Hadley almost had the finish, and Durden was always out there trying to get the finish. But this one was way more back and forth. It was just such a war. Banger of a fight for sure. Next up, performances of the night. I have 3 for you tonight. first one up, Asu Almabayev, debut, and just completely dominate. Went to the wrestling early, was able to get the takedown and do well on the ground. You could tell he was always he's active on the ground. He's not one of the lay and pray wrestlers. So it'll be fun to watch him going forward. And then he was able to get that finish in the second round. Good stuff from Asu Almabayev. Next up, you have to go with Diego Lopez. That was a ridiculous submission, flying triangle into the armbar. And I mean, he had the triangle there too as well. Unfortunate for Gavin Tucker. I didn't even talk about it after such a long layoff and all those injuries to break his arm and lose in the first round of your return fight. That is a tough night. Next up, performance of the night has to go to Dustin Jacoby. I have for performance of the night and the winners of the night, I have in like a what is it called, like a special mention, special honor. Tatiana Suarez would be the other one. It was between Tatiana and Dustin Jacoby. I just felt the knockout from Jacoby was a bit better. I liked it a bit more. Winners of the night, guys who walked away, I'd say with the biggest result, Asu Almabayev. Like I said, it was the dominance, the finish, and it being his debut with high expectations. He got it done in great fashion. Awesome stuff. Next up, it's looking very similar to performance of the night. Has to go to Diego Lopez again. After that really sick performance on short notice in a losing effort against Movsar Evloev, there were high expectations for him, and he lived up. I've talked about it, I feel like 7 times now already, but the flying triangle into the armbar with the triangle still available, sick finish for Diego Lopez. Very excited to see him continue fighting. And then this is where it gets different. Tatiana Suarez, I think the implications are bigger for her than Jacoby, so that's why I put her in the winners. But the special honor, the honorary mention, whatever you want to call it, is Dustin Jacoby for this one. So, I mean, they were interchangeable for both, it felt like. I just felt like the knockout was better for the performance of the night, and the implications were better for winner of the night. Tatiana Suarez getting to fight in the top 5. Although Jacoby finally getting to look up into the rankings now. He's been in that 15 spot for what feels like forever now. It's been quite some time, and he's never fought up. He's just been defending his spot, so maybe now he'll finally get to fight up. But we don't know for sure. That's why I gave it to Tatiana Suarez. She will definitely get a fight in the top 5. People that had the roughest night, I'd say. Jeremiah Wells, great performance. Didn't lose a single minute of the fight until the choke was sunk in. Just an unfortunate way for that to end for him. He was going to go on easily to another victory, but lapse in defensive judgment and didn't get his head out of there quick enough when he couldn't get the takedown, or didn't keep his head safe enough and got choked out. And that's just why he's, I'd say, in the losers for the night, just because he was winning so dominantly up until that. Next up, Alexa Kammer, all that time off, so young, on a 2-fight losing streak. I know he was injured for a bit, but there have to be improvements. We needed to see improvements there. So, yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't what he should have looked like, I think, especially against Tanner Boser, who, I mean, he's obviously no slouch, but if you want to be at a really high level, you definitely got to beat Tanner Boser. So, yeah, little to no improvement from Kammer, or at least he didn't show new wrinkles in his game. That's why he's in this category. Last one of the night, Gavin Tucker, kind of the same story as Kammer, except more so just the result. Obviously, at his age, he wasn't going to go away and get better, but just the way it ended, that's not how you want to see a guy that was looking really good up until that Dan Ige knockout, took some time off, had a bad injury, came back, and like I said, he was a guy that was doing well, so it was unfortunate for it to end like that, and just getting your arm snapped in the first round when you didn't really get to do anything yet, especially after that injury. I don't know, it just all adds up to him being in this category. Those are the awards and the losers of the night. That's the recap. Tomorrow night, or just tomorrow, we've got matchups. I'm doing these guys: Cody Durden, Billy Quarantillo, Kyler Phillips, Ignacio Bahamondes, Ludovic Klein, Diego Lopez, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Dustin Jacoby, Jessica Andrade, Tatiana Suarez, Rob Font, and Corey Sandhagen. With him being out now for a while, I don't know. I had something before I found out he was going to be out for a while, so I don't know. We'll see if I'll change it or just, I don't know, because the division's going to look different by then, so who knows. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, check back tomorrow for the matchups. Drop a like and subscribe on this video. And then Thursday, UFC Vegas 78, RDA versus Luque. We'll have the predictions and bets video on Thursday. See you guys then. Peace out.